Yeah, yeah. While the mood is hot.
Yeah, can you feel my orneriness
Yeah, yeah.
just starting out?
I think I'm getting an allergic reaction from it, in fact.
Probably broke out in hives already. You ever have one of those days?
Most often.
Yeah.
The joys of being in middle management is you got the people on the top complaining about the people that report to you, and they got the people that report to you complaining about the people on the top. And
Yeah,
you get to be the middleman throughout the
right.
whole thing.
And you hear it all.
And whether you want to or not. I specifically set up rules to kind of say, like, okay, I'm giving everybody a solid hour that I meet with each person on an every 2 week basis. And it's like just you and I, one on one for a full hour, get all your grievances out. It's free space, say whatever you want, at ease, soldier, that kind of a thing. It's like my door is open, which is part of the policy I've always had. Yet everybody comes into my office, and usually there's a freaking line. And it's like, I give you guys an hour to just do this
every week.
Yeah, but somehow, and then there's some where it's like the hour is used and immediately followed by, I need another hour. And I almost feel like I need to have one of those classic movie tropes of a psychiatrist couch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
for you.
Oh, yeah, at the end of each day, certainly.
Yeah.
But it is like therapy in a lot of cases. It's like, what's going on with this? Why aren't we doing this? What's happening with this? It's like, did you ever harbor resentment towards your mother? I think it's time to ask some questions.
Right.
Let's get personal with that. What would Freud say?
Done debating with children. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Logic with a individual whose brain hasn't fully developed.
Right, me, and
yeah, and the kids.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Speaking of a good way to get things going, have you seen the Creature Commandos trailer?
I have not.
I know what it is, and I know like what those characters were, but there's a point where it's like, this is a James Gunn movie that happens to have, almost like the Universal Monster Group in it.
Yeah.
So it felt very, what was his other movie? Super? So it's making me a little nervous because it's like, this is probably going to come up before any of the other ones. This is going to be the first of his James Gunn universe. It's hyper violent, hyper gross, it's like, yep, and this is DC Comics, everybody.
Right.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, if there's one thing I question about that is why start with that? Like, you have the entire universe and you want to open up with something that no one associates with your universe. It just seems sort of odd. Even if you didn't do an A-list character, and you wanted something for your own, that's just a weird choice. I mean, there's equally weird choices that would have made more sense to me than having, like you said, a universal characters that people are already familiar with, but you just, revamped them a little bit. I don't know. That's why I'm not in the biz.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably do well, and people, it definitely will have a fan base, and people go, I think it's on Max, so I don't even think it's hitting the theaters.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, and even that, what's the point then? You're doing a TV show. You already have Peacemaker, which supposedly is really good. I haven't seen it, but I don't know. And then it's animated, so it's like this. You're starting off your universe. Sure, animated DC is probably the best DC, but just kick it off with a bang. Do a Justice League, do a Green Arrow movie, do something.
We're going to flex. We're going to show you that we're going to take this in such a different direction. And we're going to shock people into how different this is going to be. But then it's like, what does that lead into Superman with? It'd be different if it was like, yeah, we're doing the Creature Commandos as a offshoot of Peacemaker and his Suicide Squad. That'd be fine. It's like, okay, I'm making this one. That'll wrap up, my trilogy, let's say, if we count Peacemaker as like a movie, self-contained, and then you say Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and then Creature Commandos. And there's like, okay, then we're going to start with Superman. It's going to be our official start of my take on it. This is, like part of a prearranged agreement I have with DC to do these movies or something like that, this trilogy. But to say that this is actually going to be the launching of the James Gunn DCEU or whatever, just I guess DCU at this point. It's like, I'm a little taken aback. And I'm not like old-fashioned fuddy-duddy. I've watched my fair share of terrifying and horrifying cartoons, but it did seem like this is what you're starting with.
Right. Something not even kids can watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's very rated R. And it's like, huh. Oh, I'm almost wondering if they're doing it first to kind of get it out of the way. Right. It's kind of like, okay, sorry about that. Like, it's almost like learning how to drive stick. You grind the gears a little bit, and then you finally find the gear and you're going forward. And I'm almost wondering if that's kind of like, let's get this one out of the way. It's out of our system. Now we can get on and doing our DC universe the way we're envisioning it.
I didn't mind the last Suicide Squad. It was actually pretty good. Had a big bad Justice League villain at the end. Very entertained. I was always a Suicide Squad fan in the comic, so seeing it on the screen was kind of cool. It wasn't exactly my version of it, Harley Quinn was a bit much, but I can see why people like her. She did a good job, but not my Suicide Squad. I'm gonna get that as a poster. I hear there's rumors of a whole bunch of things. The preview for Superman, I think somebody said it in our chat the other day, but that looked like the CW, and it does. It strangely does. I like the idea of Superman having guests in his movie. I'm not sure about having 4 or 5 of them. It just, I don't know. I'm grumpy.
Okay, so I'll just be the one who helps kind of feed that fire then. Do you think James Gunn just doesn't know how to handle one character, his attention span? I'm just throwing this out there. I have nothing to back it up. But, if you notice, like his super, even that, if I recall, had that Karen Page actress as a sidekick. And it's like, so it wasn't even like a solo story, followed with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he did the Suicide Squad. And when it comes to the superheroes, there's always group things. That way he doesn't feel like he's getting bored by talking with one character or using one character, but, having to fill a full movie with one character.
Yeah, I think that's possible. And, even I reading comics, I like group comics more than I like solo ones. Just gives more variety. Maybe he's the same way as a writer, because I know he wrote some of it, that he likes to mix it up, have the interaction. If they did a Superman versus Batman, I think that'd be a good idea. Oh wait, not a good idea.
That ship has sailed,
right? And if they had a Superman, Supergirl, or I wouldn't mind it. I just don't want them to take over the actual movie. I don't want a Guy Gardner movie unless it's about Guy Gardner, unless they plan on killing him off in the first 20 minutes or something, which I can see James Gunn doing, just wiping out characters because he doesn't really care.
Yep. We'll put the extra shock value into it.
We'll see. It's a long ways off still, isn't it?
When we get up to this stage in our life, things come really quick. Years pass very fast.
Right. Yeah. And then we're dead.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing we got to look forward to. What's your thought also on his like juxtapositioning of like classic rock or hippie songs overlaying a traumatic moment, or because even in this, Guardians of the Galaxy, it kind of made sense because it was like, yeah, this dude was picked up in the, mid 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
When he was a kid, and so he only had 80s music.
Yeah. And it was part of the plot. It was, the music was a big part of the plot.
Yeah.
just because of Star-Lord's history, and that's all he had of Earth, and so it was constantly playing. Like it worked.
Yeah, it fit in that setting. But then, like, when they were showing the Suicide Squad, it's like, okay, here's some more goofy music that you wouldn't normally associate. And then in the Creature Commandos, it kicked in again.
Oh, they had music.
Yeah, the quirky.
Did they do the monster scream? I'm gonna scream if he does the monster mash.
Yeah, giant purple people eater. Yeah, it was just, it feels like he's got a one-trick pony kind of an approach at this point. He's been typecast as, this is how I make a movie. And even Wes Anderson, which a lot of people will say, he shoots his movies the same way. They all have the same actors. It has the same feel and vibe.
Abrams does it too.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't see, even with like John Williams music in Spielberg's films, they all feel different though, and even how, like if you saw Schindler's List and you saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, you go, wow, that's two very different movies. But if you watch a James Gunn anything, it feels like that's James Gunn's, like you could almost stitch them together and make one really long movie. I thought we were watching Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, nope, you could intersplice Suicide Squad right in there. And it would feel exactly the same from a directorial, sound editing. Would like to see some variety, like stretch the directing abilities. No, I say that, and this dude's hugely successful. So it's not like he's going to listen to, some little quirky podcast guy saying like, well, I wish you would actually start to branch out into other things.
What's that, producer Tony? James Gunn, line one? Okay, let's go to line one.
I love your work, sir. I didn't say anything about that. That must have been a guest speaker that came through.
Suicide Squad's my favorite movie.
Yeah, just a little taken aback. And like I said, it's probably going to be hugely successful, and that'd be great. It'd be good to get some interest back into superhero movies because I think it's floundering. You're going to follow that with Superman. How is there any sort of continuity between the two? Because even Werewolf by Night, that Marvel one shot that they had done,
which was excellent, by the way.
Very much so. And this time of the year, best time to watch it. It was a Marvel movie, but it didn't feel like a Marvel movie. But it still had like nods, with cameos and references to other, Marvel continuity things. And so it still fit, and you didn't feel like it was such a jarring. It wasn't like blood and guts, and it felt like it could have been in the same rating system or level, like a solid PG-13, and that's what all of Marvel has kind of fallen into that category. This one is like, we're going to go full gory blood, body parts, eviscerations, decapitations, popping out eyeballs. And then we're going to follow it up by the Man of Steel, whose symbol stands for hope.
That movie, he's going to open up, like that's the first movie. It better be so good that people are dying for the next one, or else that universe is dead on arrival. Like that, good, and build up so much. It can't. If that flops even one bit, like James Gunn is done. Like that it can't flop. I'm so bitter.
Ever so slightly. I mean, all this is speculation. We might get another trailer. We might actually get an official one to see how much, if we hear David Bowie's Starman as they have Superman's trailer kicking out, it's like, and officially we're done. We'll see. I'm still holding out. A coworker of mine is like, this has got to be good. I mean, with a true tremor in his voice, like, this has got to be good. It's got to be good. So on a positive note.
You're listening to And This Is Why I Love Comics.
Hopefully it's going somewhere. We'll find out.
And welcome to another episode of And This Is Why I Love Comics. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
I almost said I'm grumpy.
Yeah, but I'm
I think that would work too. I'm grumpy. I'm Mike. And welcome to the show. We are grumpy old men. Well, I can only speak for myself right now, who enjoy reading comics and talking about our lives. We're old friends with lots of questions still about each other. And so we just chat away. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you listening in. I think we appreciate you. Appreciate it too, right?
Please.
This is the Halloween episode. I should have spooky music.
Yeah.
I'll do the Monster Mash at the beginning of the episode.
As long as we don't get copyright strikes.
Right. Yeah. I'll just sing a version of it or something. I don't know.
Find a royalty-free version somewhere.
Right. Oh, I'm sure there is, isn't there?
K-Tel Records presents the Monster Mash.
Power Records presents.
Tell me again, Sam.
I was almost say Merry Halloween, but I guess I'm gonna say that Merry Halloween.
Yeah.
And welcome to the show. We tried last time to talk about this book, and we ended up. I don't know. Am I like in a grumpy 3-week period? I'm not sure. I didn't mean period in that sense either.
I was going to say, are you in menopause there, sir?
Right. Yeah. It's not what I meant. I meant like a timetable of grumpiness.
Yeah.
I think it's just my age. I'm 53. Mike is 53.
Mm-hmm. And then some.
My daughter turned 6 on Friday.
Dang.
6 years old. 6. My youngest. My precious.
Yep. And when she gets into her rebellious teen years, you're going to be like, my bones are fragile.
Right. I'm 75. Yeah, it'll be a challenge, that's for sure. But if Billy Joel can have kids when he's 85, I can have them at 50.
Yeah. Right? I remember Tony Randall had a kid at 77.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I still retain that information. Absolutely.
I don't know why either. Most of our audience knows who Tony Randall is, though. I mean,
yeah. Well, there's
everybody else is Googling it right now.
Yeah. Let's start talking about some silent movie film actors.
That's right. That Odd Couple was a great show. I almost said Tony Orlando, but that's totally different. That's even before us.
Yeah. Just a touch.
Maybe. Not really.
Not by much, but just a touch.
No, really.
What was it? Tony Orlando and Dawn or something like that? Was that the name of it?
Yeah. Dawn of the Apes. We are talking about
not only grumpy, but Alzheimer's kicking in already.
So the book last time we were trying to talk about was Marvel Zombies. And so
what? I don't recall reading that one. Maybe Alzheimer's.
You didn't read Marvel Zombies for the show?
Afraid not, sir. We read
Mike, we talked about this for weeks. Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies. You didn't read that hack of a book, DCeased, did you?
Oh, did I ever? I'm getting a tattoo of a zombified Wonder Woman right on my left cheek.
Hey, now. Yeah, I think we should do next Halloween Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, because that was actually Robert Kirkman, I think, wrote the initial one, didn't
was.
So,
Kirkman and Phillips.
The king of zombies as of late.
Your favorite, Phillips.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised we haven't done it already.
Yeah, but it's like you got to have the Brubaker component. It's like, you can't bake a cake without, the two of them together. It's like those key ingredients.
True. And I have read some of Marvel Zombies, and I might compare the two as we go, but I think we'll save most of that for next year.
It does bring up one of the things that I had in my notes to talk about, and that is the copycat syndrome. This came out after Marvel Zombies, correct? The DCeased?
Yes, absolutely.
So I was reading the introduction, and it made it sound like this had nothing, like it wasn't coincidence. I mean, it was like purely coincidental that when Marvel had done a zombie book, and I was like, oh, I was thinking about zombies just completely on the side. Never even thought about Marvel doing it already.
Right. I don't buy that one second.
No, it's kind of
Especially,
like, what was it, like Dante's Peak and Volcano, Ants, and A Bug's Life, and
yeah.
all those, like, where these two movies came out at the same time or in close proximity from competitor, and it's like this was way too like after the fact, for that matter.
Well, yeah.
And I was kind of thinking about it. It's like, man, Marvel Zombies. And then even from printing point of view, like Marvel had done their essentials where they're doing like just newsprint reprints of their issues, and they'd put them in a big thick trade paperback. And then after that proved to be successful, DC did their showcase. And it's like, huh, so where did that idea come from?
Yeah.
And then Marvel did their True Believers line of dollar comic reprints of key issues. And then DC, sure enough, dollar comics. A couple
Are
of
you
years
saying
later.
DC copies everything Marvel does?
Yeah. And then even now, and we were talking about it earlier, it's the whole MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then this one is now the DCU, not the DCEU. It's the DCU.
You?
And it's like, good gosh, is there anything coming out? I mean, Marvel used to be called the House of Ideas, and apparently DC has become the House of Klepto Ideas. It's like,
well, I think we could do a whole episode on things they both did to each other and how they stole ideas.
true.
Certainly looks like DC's been stealing some lately, that's for sure. Because Marvel Zombies was back in 2005. You're telling me that they wrote DCeased in 2006 even? Because it came out in 2019.
Yeah.
It was well established that there was a zombie verse.
Yeah.
Way
with
before.
offshoot titles and everything. This one,
Oh,
yeah, because in the introduction of the DCeased that I'm reading, it was like, it was the May of 2018, and I was sitting in a full editorial meeting led by the publisher, Dan DiDio. I was like, 2018, huh? So 13 years later, you had this brilliant idea. I was like, what if? Just hear me out on this. I know it's never been done before. What if? And it's like,
DCeased.
Gosh.
DCeased is a 6-issue miniseries by DC. Went from May to October in 2019. It was written by Tom Taylor, and the artistic team was Trevor Hairsine and Stefano Guadignano. Stefano Guadignano. There we go. There's that Italian name as the inker. Of course, it's kind of an Elseworlds because it didn't really happen in the mainstream, which doesn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just want a good story. Actually ranked number 1 in the comic book sales. I don't even believe all that stuff anymore. Who knows?
Yeah,
what
chart? What I
Right.
mean, everything can be like, it's number 1 on my mom's refrigerator.
My mom loved it, so it's good. It's had a few spin-offs, which I have not read. I did not have it digitally this time. It collected DCeased 1 through 6 and DCeased A Good Day to Die, number 1. I do know we didn't talk much about art in the last one, our Deadpool episode, which was way shorter than I wanted it to be. But, we didn't really get into details.
Well, I was going to say something about that too. And what I came across is like, if we like something, we really don't say a whole lot.
Well, that's true.
So, I mean, it was like on the books that we've been like, let's say when we did like a Fearless or Parker or something along those lines, it's like, we'll just gush about how good the art, the story, how it all comes together. And that's just about it. So those episodes are usually a lot shorter. But in this case, I think I've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. You could gauge how well we liked the book by how short the episode was.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes we don't even talk about the book until the end. And so,
It's getting
so
late. My eyes are closing.
but yeah, in general, I mean, I like the Deadpool one. It's not number one in my book or even in
No.
the top 5, but it was entertaining. It was fun.
Yeah,
And again, that's all I have to say about it. This episode is done.
yeah.
Done.
We went right back to it.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't kind of do a blow by blow because a lot of it we already kind of described it when we did the Secret Wars,
Yeah.
and then just insert Deadpool here, and that was the basics of the entire thing. So we've already done Secret Wars, and it's full underwear exposing glory. It's just a matter of just say okay, there. Deadpool shows up in several moments.
But happy Halloween, DCeased.
Yes.
So this is zombies in the DC universe. Again, it has the New Gods link to it because that's all we ever read is DC New God stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really gotta, for as much as I thought that the New God dark side stuff was limited and really kind of rare, certainly in the last 20 years, dark side's been everywhere and they use him quite a bit. I almost wish he'd disappear again for 1,000 years and then show up again in the Legion of Superheroes doing a Great Darkness saga. I wish that would be reality. Like, just enough. Yeah, he's the big bad. Why don't you have a moratorium on him for like 10 years? Like, do a big moratorium. Now, they won't ever do that because they gotta use them every year at least. Certainly, there's other storylines you could do than the anti-life that they've been doing since Cosmic Odyssey. I'm starting to complain about a book.
Yeah, yeah. Episode 1, Cosmic Odyssey.
Overall, Mike, and then I'll tell you what I think. How'd you like DCeased?
6 issues and some spin-offs that could have been wrapped up in probably 3. The story, the concept was fit within the DC universe, but it just didn't really. It wasn't like. I think a lot of it is because of the fact that zombies, and even though these technically were not zombies, they were techno-organic, anti-life thralls. Didn't really need to be this long in order to convey what they had to, the story itself. It just felt like we started this thing, and when does Halloween kick in, or whatever the season that this would all be really poignant? Oh, that'd be October. Oh crap, we started this in May. So can we stretch this premise? So it felt like it was a super, super quick read. Zombies don't really have a whole lot of thought balloons, nor did they have a whole lot of speaking roles. So there wasn't a need to necessarily have a lot of reading in here.
Yeah.
So you could flip through a lot of pages really quick.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you, Mike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I enjoyed this story. Like you said, it was a quick read. That's for sure. I liked the premise of, it's not just zombies. Darkseid screwed up and actually destroyed everything. I think they hit upon a couple things that I really appreciated in this story. And of course, we're going to spoil it. So if you're going to read it and haven't already,
hit pause.
Please hit pause and go read it. It'll take you about a half hour.
All 6 plus a backup issue.
Right. And then you can just jump right back in right here. We'll wait. All right, welcome back. And so, the Darkseid screws up, creates this, he kidnapped Cyborg, who he finally figures out is the anti-life, or holds the other part of the equation or whatever.
The last element of it.
Yeah, and he thinks he needs to kill the Black Racer, which I thought was a cool, I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Racer comes, he kills the Black Racer, and it changes the formula. Like, I'm Darkseid probably should have known that, but, he's Darkseid. and then it destroys Apocalypse, and Cyborg returns, and of course, then he's the carrier, and suddenly it does a Stephen King kind of thing with Cell and all these.
Or you can name a
Yeah,
few dozen.
right.
Later, Stephen King getting lazy.
Yeah, all these technologies transforms the Earth population into zombies. And I thought the big first twist after the Darkseid failure was, oh, this isn't going to have Batman survive. He survives a little bit using something that I thought was actually pretty fun, but he's gonna die. I love that gets taken out by Alfred. Alfred survives. I don't remember now if he survived the whole thing, but I thought that was a good. Like, you're not counting on Batman to solve it at the end. He's dead. He's a zombie.
He's got a cure for what's the term, the Bat God or something like that, where it's like he can outsmart everybody. He can outdo, so he'll never get caught off guard. Story elements, I will grant it that, but it was like, yeah, we can kind of zip through this. I think what soured me right out of the gates was this use of fonts on page 1. And I
gotta look.
Being in design, I spotted this, and it's like, oh, why? Why couldn't you have done it something? As a letterer, this coon, it's like, clearly this is a font that got used. And the O's, there's 3 O's, Koom. The O's are the same O on all 3 of them. And it's like, oof. You couldn't have distorted, rotated, flipped, done something to make this look a little bit more like not a font, like somebody just typed this word out. And, back in the day, you would have had like a real letterer having to write each of these things, and they would have really brought a lot more emotion to it than Coom with the same. Just I found a monster font from Blambot, and I just downloaded it, typed it out, and then that's panel number 2. Panel number 4, the same font is used again, and it's like, you didn't do anything. This is lazy lettering. And then there's the Coom on the 2-page spread, so you have 4 panels on page 1. Then page 2 and 3 is a big spread, but there's an insert image, and there is that same font, Coom, used again.
Minus a 0, or I mean,
they only went 2 O's that time.
So I think that was a mistake.
Yeah,
gotta put the 3.
But it was just kind of like, that I don't know. It's just legit, and I'm not trying to throw Said, I don't even want to pronounce the name, I'm going to butcher it, but the letterer on the bus. But it's like, this is how you start your book, with very lazy lettering.
Well, and the person's last name has the word font in it. So.
Yeah. So it was like, to me, all of a sudden, it's like, I'm going, what? And then the other issue was, you have 2 different artists, and it's like, these Trevor, who, after having read this introduction, it was like, I knew exactly who I wanted to work with. And Trevor was the only person I had on my list. Issue 1, Trevor draws some of the book, and this James Herron picks up the rest.
It does the Apocalypse stuff, which I hated that art.
Yeah, so it's like, on issue 1, you couldn't even complete the whole book. And then, like, Darkseid he unravels Wonder Woman's lasso. It just walks off, and it's like, how did that? I didn't think you could just do that.
Well, apparently that lasso unravels whenever there's a disturbance, because the book ends with Cyborg talking to Wonder Woman, who, spoiler alert, gets converted, and he at the end of the book goes, "Oh, I need to do something," and then she just unravels it and then rips his head off. So there's a plot of that. Maybe the rope just wasn't doing it anymore.
Yeah, could be. I just like maybe there was something going on in the comics series that I wasn't reading. No earthly idea. Nonplussed, so to speak, by the whole thing of like that's what we started off with. Is like we've got the first page, lazy lettering. Second page, that same lettering shows up again, and then page was it 6, 5, somewhere in there? Oh, 7. A whole new art team comes in and does the entire like how to do Apocalypse. And it's like, what the heck just happened here? Was not anticipating this, and it just pops in. Very, very distinctly different art. And, Darkseid screwing things up with the unleashing of it, and it doesn't go his way. And then the entirety of Apocalypse explodes. And I thought, okay, so they've raised the stakes really, really high. Here's a pure shock factor. Was it terrible? No, but it was like, okay, nothing's safe, nothing's sacred of Apocalypse and Darkseid die in this thing right out of the gates on page 12 or whatever. It's like, where can they go here from here? Nothing's going to be safe after this. And I was like, okay, well,
that's true. There was nothing safe.
Yeah.
I will say about the Apocalypse thing, I didn't mind the artist's Darkseid or Apocalypse. I've never liked DCeased looking like a creature. I liked him. I grew up with him being a person.
Yeah,
unusual,
slimy.
but he was kind of like the Parasite with a weird cloak on. I hate that version. I didn't like the artist's rendition of Cyborg. That was my problem. It just looked like amateurish to me. His Darkseid was fine.
Yeah.
But just not my favorite style when it came to Cyborg, that's for sure. But otherwise, the art was okay. It told the story. It kind of reminded me of Blackest Night art with I'm trying to think what that guy's name was. I could look it up, but I'm trying not to look things up.
Use your old thinker.
Use my old thinker. Oh, Ethan Van Scriber was the artist on that, and I didn't even look it up. I promise. So it kind of reminded me of that kind of style, which I was fine with. Told the story. I did like the inclusion of Big Barda and the Scot Free. I enjoyed that little section. I wish they had survived. Spoiler alert again. But what they were in, I enjoyed. A lot happening. They sacrificed a lot of characters early on that maybe I would have liked to have seen more of. Nightwing. But I also accepted it as it continued. Like, oh, these characters didn't make it. They don't have to show everything on paper. They can just suddenly they're zombies and attacking. It made for a quicker story. I didn't have to go through how he changed, how she changed. But there was some characters I wish they would have spotlighted more, and maybe they did. There was so many. There was 3 or 4 whatever spin-offs, and some of them. I thought the plot and the beats of the plot were pretty good. I have a lot of questions at the end. And I want to know why Aquaman was such a wuss.
I was just going to say that there's some aspects which I did appreciate, it was a good way to kind of say, what would happen if our good guys became villains? Like what would happen if Aquaman went bad? And this was an example of how it would play out. What would happen if Hal Jordan had gone bad? Not in a parallax sort of way, but if he had gone bad. And this shows how that would play out.
That was my favorite part.
And it was, in that way, and I did like that, Batman, while taken down, he was taken down because he was fighting his proteges. It took both Nightwing and I think this was the Tim Drake version of Robin.
It wasn't Damien, because Damien was.
Yeah, he shows up and he's one of the survivors. But it was good that like it took two of them to take Batman out, but doesn't take a whole lot to take out, to transfer this over. And then, one thing that was a little weird was just in a mythos kind of a way. It was like they bite like a zombies, they scratch like zombies. It doesn't. The infection is passed that way. And then there's a line, if I recall, in one of these issues where it's like, it's not transmitted by the blood, it's through this technological blah blah blah. And it's like, then why did Batman go down? Because he got bit. It just seems like a little contradictory. But so there was a lot of like lore that didn't quite stick around. I couldn't quite figure it all out, and I felt like there was way too much time with this Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, back and forth. It's like you just had them speak that like this. If it were the Marvel manner or like the Marvel way of writing comics back in the day, Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby would have had this done in like 4 panels, not 3 pages.
30 pages, it felt like.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of a slog, But, Green Lantern goes rogue. Aquaman goes rogue. I did like the fact that Black Canary became a Green Lantern.
I love that. That was my favorite part of the whole book.
I didn't see that coming at all, and I thought that's cool. I was kind of thinking that, like, when they show that they're going to kill him off, I was thinking that Green Arrow would have been the Green Lantern, because it would have been Green Arrow Lantern or whatever, Green Lantern Arrow. Right. And he would have had because it's like Green Arrow, Green Lantern, that comic had been around so long. It's like, what if they were fused into one person? And that this would have been that opportunity. But it was interesting that Black Canary kind of took over the role, and I thought that's well done. That's something I was not, I didn't see that telegraphed. And then again, the spoiler aspects of it, of Batman. I did like that his contingency plan wasn't a contingency plan, but he's just smart enough to kind of like, I can make an improvised plan after he got bit and damaged and it was ravaging his body, to hop into a Mr. Freeze costume to help slow down the spread. I thought that was really clever.
Genius.
Yep. So, I mean, that was basically all that was in issue 1.
Yeah. They crammed a lot of it in there. I liked Alfred in issue 2, like flying the bat plane around.
Yeah, yeah. And there was just, a lot. Again, the Harley Quinn stuff felt like it went on way too long. And I wasn't into the Super Sons, so I didn't really, to me, the Damien and Jonathan didn't resonate. I never read any of those books. I didn't know their connections at all or how they worked together. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess. Congregate around the Daily Planet and make that kind of a safe zone, and Superman makes certain everything's good to go there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out why they went to the Daily Planet. Like, really, why? I mean, I can see the sentiment of it, and I realized, there's a line about how they still have old technology and stuff like that would still work without spreading the virus.
Yeah, but analog.
I don't know. But sure, I guess.
Which is interesting, because it's like they don't even broadcast on analog outside of like a radio, because I think TV is all HD now.
Yeah, I was just thinking like Superman could super fly around and gather all that stuff, in about 10 seconds.
True enough, yeah.
And any location, it's a comic book, right?
Yeah.
And Harley Quinn fights the Joker. Yeah, whatever. You get some cool moments with people having loss. Superman clears out the Daily Planet. Some of his friends are in there, and the Atlantis stuff just kind of makes me mad. Just how, and I can understand why they do it, because they want it global. Like even Atlanteans, with different technology, gets spread by the blood and the water, and somehow Mira survives, because you got to have a survivor from every place, which makes for a good story, of course.
Yep, tell the tale.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Atlantis be like a bastion of safety and stuff, like they used the fortress and stuff. But I can't get everything on my stories right.
And I don't know, do the other DCeased pick up where this thing left off, or they tell an alternate version of how this could have played out?
No, it tells the same storyline, just different parts of it that maybe
Okay.
weren't told. I think the end is the same, but how they got there or whatever. And I do have a question. I don't know. Did you read the John Constantine story? Was that in yours?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll have to get into that. That's the story that made me so angry. So you didn't see
Oh,
the
I
time
did
travel?
actually read it. Sorry, yes, I
Okay.
did.
The time travel stuff with
Yeah,
Wave Rider? Yeah, whatever.
with Wave Rider and...
Just wait on that one.
If you weren't grumpy already,
Right?
this
Oh,
will top it
don't get
right
me
off.
started. And I like this story. I really do. I would recommend reading it around Halloween. It has some touching moments with John Kent, and Martha survives. And I'm always confused whether they're alive or dead in the actual continuity
I
universe.
know.
I'm like, did they die again? Are they still alive? Um, I don't know either. I did not appreciate them destroying Captain Atom again. He never seems to be the superhero anybody wants him to be.
Well, it's kind of become passe because it's just like this guy is so powerful, but one rip and sure enough,
Yeah, sure enough, they rip him every series they can.
yeah,
They rip him to
he's this
shreds.
massive source of destruction everywhere.
Right. I do like how they killed him, but using the atom. But you would think the atom would have killed just about everybody then.
Yeah, microscopic, infecting everybody along the way.
And you can see some of the survivors. Lex Luthor and Wonder Girl, Changeling. I mean, Beast Boy. They all go to the Amazonian island, and so there's like bases starting to get set up. The Flashes are kind of sequestered away because of Batman
Give a
warning
warning.
them,
Yeah.
which was kind of neat. I mean, good way to take them out. I'm wondering where there's other speedsters. There's like literally a million speedsters.
I know. The Speed Force. Why didn't they just hide in the Speed Force if that's like this alternate dimension? Can they have just stepped into that?
I think you just burn the writer. Burn. Where's the Speed Force when it's only there when they need it.
Yeah, when the plot can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like you said, where's the Jay Garrett? Where's the it's like they've only had these two. And I'm so out of the loop. I didn't know who this other. I knew that was like Barry Allen Flash, but it's like, who's this other dude?
That's Wally. That's the second version of Wally.
Yeah. So I was like, oh crap, I've been really out of the loop on this. If that's who is not Wally West.
Yep, that's like the new 52 Wally.
So that carried over, even though they're no longer in the I guess this is Elseworld, so it could be anything and anybody.
Right. I think they do both exist, of course, because they can't get rid of any characters. Giganta's kind of cool, zombie-wise.
Yeah, like what would happen if someone was huge and a zombie?
Yeah.
That was fairly clever.
Yeah. And Cyborg shows up again. Damian becomes the new Batman. I don't know. It's a lot of duking it out, and Captain Atom explodes, and all kinds of different little goody little things. And it was cleverly written. Again, not much dialogue, but the art was portrayed in a way where you could follow it pretty well.
It was, like I said, I didn't think it needed to be this many issues. You kind of get the idea. It was almost like, so what else would happen? What would happen if it was literally like they had a list? Okay, let's make a list of all the superheroes that DC has. And then would it be cool if that person was a zombie? Oh yeah, that would be cool. Okay, that's going to be in issue 5. Okay, and then they were just like, that person. What about Blue Devil? I just don't see that would be a cool zombie. Okay, let's not put them in. It's just like they had gone through a whole list, put down the ones we thought, oh, that'd be great. People like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. We got to put them in there. What would happen if they got zombified? And then, it's kind of like, oh, okay. It just didn't seem like they needed all of this stuff. It could have been like, holy crap, superheroes are now the villains and everybody's susceptible. And then we had to save humanity somehow. And they did. And done.
Did they though? I mean, let's get to the end in a little bit. It did seem like a fanfic kind of thing where I'll throw, and again, that's what a writer does. What scenes will resonate. Oh, Giganta. That's a cool concept.
Yeah, visually,
it would do it. I loved the Big Barda stuff. Did I mention that? Mr. Terrific is always disappointing to me because he's like the smartest man ever, and then he never survives.
Yeah, he's always shocked. It's like, if you're so smart, why are you surprised by anything? You should be able to figure it out. The only logical outcome would be this.
I did like that, Booster Gold wanted to do some time traveling, and that seems to be like the cop out of why didn't the magic people do anything? And that's always my question. All these wizards and Dr. Fate and the Spectre and all these people tuned into the earth and the timelines and the mystical forces and the future, and they never seem to be able to do anything to the actual timeline. Then you're not that powerful, really. You stay in your lane. You can only fight other mystical people.
Yeah.
It just seems like a cop-out sometimes. And they tried to get to the time bubble, and then there's a wave rider who is the linear man, the person who can stop you from going through time. I'm trying to think it was, Armageddon? I think that was his introduction.
Yeah, was it Armageddon or 0 Hour?
It might have been 0 Hour and then Armageddon. Yeah, I think you're right. It would have been cool if someone had made it through the time bubble, and then you had like a whole maybe there was a series based on that, but it didn't look like it in this series. Although the Constantine storyline did seem to kind of stop suddenly, and then you never saw him again with the Mystics.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna do something. The world ain't over till I say it's over, and then the issue ends, and then that's it with that storyline. So maybe that one crossed over to some other series. I don't know. I think that was the one shot, though. That was a good day to die. But Metropolis gets destroyed. Lex Luthor says, "Look what they did to my city." I like that they build Themyscira into a huger. Is that a word? A larger place. Like they just raised the ground up.
Yeah, they kept bringing the earth from underneath the island until it made the island bigger, but that had its own consequences.
Put everybody in the watchtower on the moon, or the satellite era, and just have bases there. I would have trusted that a little more. Of course, that's all technology based, so maybe they couldn't do that, Andy. Geez, because they would have all been turned into stuff.
And then the connection that Poison Ivy had with the Green was like, is that in the comics these days, or is that just something that they kind of said like, oh, it makes sense because like, where's Swamp Thing in this whole thing then? But he was like the champion of the Green.
Right. He was out that day.
Yeah. I put in for some personal time off.
Right. Yeah. That Poison Ivy stuff is kind of in continuity. At least her connection to it. I'm not sure they've shown her to be that powerful
But yeah, she's basically taking over Gotham as a sanctuary, using just, the technology's got us into the trouble. This will get us out.
Did Poison Ivy do that some other time too? I'm trying to remember. It just seems really familiar. Like she carved out a place for herself. I don't know. I'm just getting old.
That all blurs together here.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. They show the Fortress of Solitude. Like they regroup as heroes, and you get to see who the survivors are. A red tornado, that makes sense. Oh, well, kinda. Maybe, I don't
Isn't
know.
he?
He's technology.
Isn't he 100% technology?
Right. Maybe it doesn't. And I don't know that they show him again. Black
No.
Lightning survived. Hawk Girl, Firestorm, Power Girl, the Flashes, Green Arrow's still around. So, I mean, there's some survivors that make it the whole way. I kind of like it that later on Lex Luthor dies. And then they start building these arcs so they can take off. They decided Earth will abandon it like Wally and travel to stars.
Yep. By and large, let's jump on
Right.
board the by and large
Hear the
arcs.
Peter Gabriel song in the background. They do a cool thing where the Martian Manhunter shows up and he's zombified and he just annihilates Lex Luthor and attacks the Flash. Firestorm takes him out.
Yeah, which was good. Like his fear of fire was a psychological fear, but then now they made it into a legit like weakness to fire. Is that correct, or how does the Martian Manhunter work?
Pretty much. I mean, it depends on the writer
Okay.
whether they remember that miniseries or not. Or
Yeah, the Mark Badger one. Yeah, but it was good. Torched him. And then it was interesting to see how a shapeshifter, under an influence of zombieism, grows, becomes more powerful, becomes more threatening, and a lot more morphs into a variety of different shapes. I guess would be the best way to phrase it. It's like he's got tentacles coming out. He's got giant, it's like 4 times his normal size. So it was an interesting threat that he actually made as opposed to normal, what you think of Martian Manhunter. He just goes invisible. I still think that Martian Manhunter is the one DC character with the most random power assortment.
Like you rolled on the Marvel.
Yeah, the Marvel superheroes role playing game random power generator list. Here you go.
Yep.
Nothing fits together. Martian Manhunter falls into that category.
And the Flash gets infected and runs off. And for some reason, Superman thinks it's a better idea for him to chase him instead of Wally. So Superman's going to go chase after the Flash who's infected and just kind of changing everybody that survived. And we haven't talked about it, but the zombie-ness is really the anti-life equation, which kind of is a personified, like later on they talk to it as if it's a creature. So it's not just a mindless creation. It just wants to kill everything, thus the anti-life. So later on in the story, they get to talk to it through Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
which was a cool thing. It makes it
using
more
her own
evil,
lasso.
right? Using her own lasso. So Superman's idea to catch the Flash is not to try and go with them, but go around the Earth the other way. Take a left instead of the right.
Yep, intercept them.
And smashes through them, but the Flash is going so fast that Superman actually merges with him.
Parts and pieces.
Suddenly he's infected too, which is, again, why didn't Wally just do it then? And then, can't you unmerge? Or is it too late? I don't know. I can't think about it too much, but Wally's the last speedster, apparently, because I think he survives. I don't know. Maybe we don't see him again. I was probably hiding in the Speed Force,
Yep. Hey, what did I do this to begin with? See, fools, right. I'm out.
I'm safe. So Superman's dying. He says bye to Lois and to Ma Kent. And a character we didn't mention was John, the little Superman.
Yeah,
who was still a kid.
He was still a kid at this point. Yeah, not full.
Yeah, which is the way he should have been. And there, I got it on my chest. Superman tries to escape before he's infected, but man, he doesn't, and he changes into a bad anti-life Superman just as the issue ends before issue 6 begins. And I like that kind of turn of events. Suddenly you got your second main hero shifted into a bad guy. Of course, you knew all along he wasn't going to survive it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. If you've already offed Darkseid and Batman in issue 1,
Right.
you knew it was going to end with Superman.
Yeah, I do think like if this was done in the 80s, it would have been like a 2-issue oversized storyline. I mean, sure, Crisis was 12 issues, but that was like annihilating the entire continuity and starting again.
Issue 6 had the one line that I actually kind of laughed at, and that was the one about, the perpetual, like, Batman has a contingency plan. He had a way to take down every member of the Justice League. Like, and then it was like, Green Arrow asked, like, what was his scheme against me? He's like, he didn't really have one against you. Because it's like, you're Green Arrow. Who cares? You're not going to be a threat.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then later on, Green Arrow makes this shot, 1 in a million shot against Aquaman. And like, that's why you should have had a contingency plan against me.
It pays off. And it's like, that made it like, okay, it took 6 issues. You finally redeemed yourself in that one moment with Green Arrow. Kind of like, you remember when Frank Miller had the Dark Knight Returns and had brought Green Arrow into that one. And it's like, dang it, that's hilarious. This Green Arrow's the best.
I thought you were going to say the best line in the book was, "It was a Wednesday." Because I hated that line.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been funny if they had done like Office Space and it was like, somebody's having a case of the Mondays. Zombie Superman.
But yeah, Batman has a contingency plan. Oh, look, I got some kryptonite in my pocket. Oh, I'm going to forge this little piece of kryptonite into a huge sword. Mix it up with my magical sword, Wonder Woman, and they go to attack Superman. It's Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Black Canary Lantern. This last issue, I think it had a good wraparound. I'm not sure about Aquaman getting the Kraken, right in that. So that maybe that was a tie into the Aquaman movie, how they're mysterious animals in the deep. I thought that was pretty cheesy. It would have been great to see more like just Atlantean technology and stuff like that, rather than a mythical creature.
Yeah, I guess this was kind of like bringing some sort of like a Cthulhu horror into it.
Yeah, I guess. Aquaman dies with an arrow through his eye from Green Arrow, and then a lot of the Amazons get sacrificed. So, like, all the big battles at the end, Superman's getting attacked. All the arcs are leaving. It's a time crunch. And
everybody's buying them time to get out.
Wonder Woman cuts Superman's arm off and then stabs him once, which doesn't seem to do anything really.
He's zombie, so his heart doesn't really make.
I guess I would just start chopping limbs then, let him be. I don't know, all these limbless jokes.
What do you call Superman with one arm?
Stumpy. Wonder Woman gets zombified, but gives the kryptonite sword to Black Canary. Cyborg stays to talk to Wonder Woman, and then the big finale is Superman versus Superman, Superboy-ish. Superboy didn't have a chance. And I turned the page and there's all these Green Lanterns, which is great and totally reminds me of a book we have not reviewed yet, Alan Davis's The Nail.
I just was at the South Bend Comic Con on Saturday, and I picked up issues 1 and 3.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So I got coincidentally, because I'm like, it's Alan Davis art. It's got to be something great.
We'll have to do that in the next couple episodes. I enjoyed it. I read it way back when. I have the trade that has The Nail in The Nail 2. in it. The Nail 2 had some Legion stuff, so that is why I picked that up. But from my memory, I enjoyed it a lot. Of course, I also liked the Hawkeye miniseries.
It was good in my youth. Maybe not so much anymore.
I mean, always the Green Lantern Corps showing up late, as always.
Yeah.
They show up late for Final Crisis. They show up late for a lot of crises. And so they want to duke it out with Superman. Superman goes, nah, I'll just destroy the sun. And again, Superman and the sun, blah blah blah.
That's how
I see a lot.
All-Star Superman ended.
Yeah, it's repetition. Are they just telling different stories with the same outcomes?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, where's the new ideas?
I was disappointed with that particular aspect of the ending. And in that it was like, of Superman, it was like, yeah, it's kind of sequel baiting. It's like, he's draining all the solar energy out of the sun, and he'll just keep absorbing and absorbing and absorbing until the sun and this whole solar system goes away.
Right.
And it's like, we'll keep an eye on it. And it's like, why don't you just like snuff it out?
Right. Or destroy, because Superman doesn't necessarily die. He could still be around too.
Yeah. So it's like he's still in there, he's still doing his thing, and he's just going to get more and more powerful. So why wait until he's absorbed the entirety of the sun and his body's absorbed all that solar energy, and you got a much bigger threat on your hands a millennium from now? It's like, well, we're okay for now. We're good.
Superman's still around. The Arcs get escorted by the Green Lantern. Cyborg's killed by Wonder Woman after, asking what the cure is, and he finds out that he had cure all along.
Oh, like Dorothy's shoes.
It was inside you all along.
Yep.
And then Wonder Woman kills him. And so you got a Wonder Woman that's anti-life. You got Superman still around. The story ends with them looking out at what they called Earth 2, which was just another planet in the different galaxy, I assume. And yeah, sure, it sets up for a sequel. I know eventually there's going to probably be a crossover with this universe and the regular universe. And there's the new threat of zombies following into the new continuity, and dogs and cats living together. Overall, I enjoyed it. I seem to have enjoyed it more than you. I thought it was a nice zombie take. I was pleasantly surprised that it was not just zombies, but a little kingish. So it's a good Halloween read.
Yeah,
I would recommend it once. I'm not sure you need to buy it. I give it 3.5 Rothleys.
And then knee slap.
What's your summary on it?
My overall take on it was enjoyable for what it is. I wouldn't ever go like, this made the top of my list. It was like, I can say that I read it. I can say that I'm like, okay, that's what would happen if they all got zombified. And that's really the extent. I will never go back to this. I will never think of it again.
Well, I'm going to keep bringing it up, so you will. But
try as you might, you'll never let it go.
And I do think that, they had to do it differently than Marvel did, because Marvel, there's not quite the invulnerability that a lot of these DC characters have. So, a simple bite, scratch, and you're a zombie worked pretty good for Marvel zombies. But for DC, you needed to add something extra, and the anti-life seems like a logical thing that writers keep going back to. And even Grant Morrison, as genius as he is,
sort of writing Green Lantern series.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on that. I still own that book. Unfortunately, no one wanted to buy it.
No one's lifting it off your hands. Try as you might.
Such crap. I think they had to go a little extra mile. I hate to spoil this the Marvel Zombies book for you, but pretty much the same thing happens
Well, yeah.
at the end there. Everything's destroyed. They move on to another one.
Yeah.
But we're older and bitter, or I am. I guess I'll talk about me. But it was typical at the end, kind of disappointing. But one, at least the DC one, offered some hope.
Yeah.
Because that's the symbol of Superman.
Or the fact that they're like, if this does well, guess what?
We have
Sequels are on the
room.
horizon.
Here's another franchise.
Yep. We're just going to keep milking this thing till it's dead.
Dead. I get it. Oh, see what you did there.
Yeah.
And like you said, though, I don't have to ever read it again, even though I own the trade.
One thing I'm looking through and I'm flipping through all these pages and extras that were in the back of all these millions of cover variations, millions of them.
Some of them don't even make sense.
Yeah, and I'd have to say quite a few don't. But what I thought was interesting is that there's a comic shop in town called Buy Me Toys. It's now called like Buy Me Toys and Comics, but it was Buy Me Toys, and they had an exclusive cover to that store alone. It's specific to that store, and that's in this collection. So I thought that was kind of cool to see, like, hey, local shop got their cover reprinted here. That's cool. A lot of covers, so many freaking covers.
It was, and I'm sure there's 100 more than what they're showing here. That was a good review. I think we did a good job on that one.
Do believe so.
Right. So if you have an opinion on zombie books, maybe something else we should read, let us know. Our webpage is, and this is why I love comics, podcast.buzzsprout.com. Email us at and this is why I love comics at gmail.com. You can join us on the X at and this is why I L1. We're on the Facebook and this is why I love comics podcast. Check it all out there. There's a calendar of events and other goodies there. You can join us on the TikTok, Why I Love Comics podcast. You can support the show either on the Buzzsprout page or why not just become a Patreon member. And this is why I love comics. Thanks to our supporters and friends of the show. You can check out Jamie's YouTube show at JHood Comics. Thanks to producer Katie, assistant producer Tony, co-hosts Matt 2.0, Kevin, Jamie, Matt 10.0, and Nick. And of course, you should go listen to some Thunder Chicken for their tunes. They do all the music for the show. You can check them out on Spotify. The link and all the links to everything else I just talked about is in the show notes. Whew.
You did it all in one breath. That's amazing.
I know, that's right. I'm curious what I have on the calendar of events, and I would tell you if my phone hadn't died. So, I'll tell you next time.
Yeah. I'll be surprised when we start recording and you're like, hey, what did you think of this book that I didn't tell you to read?
Right, exactly.
Speaking of reading and Halloween, have you ever read a comic that actually made you scared? Like, I've read a book or two that's like, holy crap, I'm kind of creeped out. And I've seen my fair share of movies that I can never watch again that's got me creeped out.
Salem's Lot. And the original.
Yeah, the made-for-TV.
Whew, man, I still cannot get myself to watch that. Let's see, something that scared me. Book-wise?
A comic book that gave you the willies.
Not really. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's some freaky ones, like Marvel Zombies that kind of, but scared? I don't think so.
Movies will scare you because of jump scares and music and so forth. And then books, written words can scare you because it's all in your imagination, your own head. And the pacing is just like, oh crap, and I gotta keep reading. It's like one of those things like, why are you going upstairs in a haunted house? Get the heck out of there, kind of a thing. And it's like, no, you're the one who's choosing to keep on reading this book.
Right.
But for some reason, comics, even the horror comics, I'm like, huh.
Well, let's pass it on to the listeners. Tell us what freaky comic we should read. And by freaky, I mean scary.
Something that
Scary
really
comic.
terrified you in a comic sense.
Matt 10.0 probably has an idea. Let's hear from him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's probably got a few that's like, well, if you read Black Sad and some other, one that's like, I've never even heard of this.
There was a Usagi Yojimbo that...
Yeah. I mean, because like even the Phillips and Brubaker, they had a series that was kind of Cthulhu inspired. It was really good. It was a long running series, and it had some moments where, oof, this is a little unnerving, but it wasn't like, oh crap, I don't even want to turn the page to see what happened.
I would say like early Walking Dead, I wasn't scared, but the suspense of okay, what's going to happen next was there for me. But yeah, not scared. Sometimes my life's more scary than.
Yeah, trying to think about because like I remember reading the Bernie Wrightson Creep Show, the Stephen King one that had come out way back when, and it's like that's got some classic EC Comics vibes, and there's some creepy aspects just because the stories were really terrifying. I don't think I've read anything that was like, oh, mercy. Fatal, that's it. That was the one. Because like even something is killing the children. I could tell that if I had read more, there might have been some creepy stuff. But I don't know if I would have been like, oh, crap, I can't go to bed at night. There
was some creepy stuff in there. More story than anything else. Hey, my phone came back up. I'm going to look on our page. This is Why I Love Comics podcast. What a great Facebook page we have. Okay, calendar of events. Let's see. Let's see how accurate this is. October, Deadpool Secret Wars. Okay, I'm with you. DCeased. Okay,
yep.
Check. Oh, we should probably do this one. The next episode I have listed is our Dreams and Aspirations Part 2 episode. That might be fun just to talk about. Mm-hmm. Book. And then I have Grant Morrison's JLA, which, probably will change since we just did a DC one. And then I have the word independent, Dreams and Aspirations episode. I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, especially if you're in a grumpy mood. Oh, mercy.
Right? Yeah. And then we have a Christmas episode, our annual Christmas episode.
Yeah. We're kind of pick and choose.
Yeah, so we'll have to think of a Christmas theme again. Last time we did Claus. Time before that we did Christmas issues. And then a new year starts. Holy moly.
I know, isn't it insane? We've already 2024 is like 2025 will be kind of like that. Holy crap, what kind of a year is this going to be? Quarter of a century through a new millennia.
Right. And I just remembered it changing to the new millennia.
Yeah, that's what kind of throws me off. It's like, I was talking to a friend of mine just hit 50. And it was like...
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, 50. They just reached that pivot point. And I'm like going, yeah, like you said, welcome to the club, part 1. And then it's like, time is going to zip.
Yeah, you think time travel or timing goes fast when you're younger. Once you hit 50, you would not believe how soon 60 comes along.
Yeah.
Not that I'm 60 yet, Tomorrow, maybe.
Here's an independent book, and I don't know if this is relevant still and has some value to read, but that Berserker from Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
They have like a 12-issue series. It's Keanu Reeves, Matt Kind, illustrated by Ron Garney.
Yeah, I actually own that first issue of that. Yeah, we could do that. We have a new Teen Titans we got to get back to, too. The next 6 issues of that I'm looking forward to. Lots ahead. Lots of exciting stuff. A little more regular schedule. You can count on that. I will jinx myself by saying that, but... Plus, I would like to have another guest on. I've got a couple in mind. We need another voice that we can make fun of later.
Yeah.
And so we'll do that in the next 6 months as well. Lots of things going on. Thanks for continuing to listen to us. And so for the podcast, my name is Andy.
I'm the mic.
And we'll talk to you later.
You as well, and hopefully the grumpiness starts to dissipate.
Well, chatting with you always helps. So
The smile returns until I hit leave studio, and then you really smile. It's like, oh,
right. It's like, oh, I get to go to bed.